Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today's video is going to be all about She-Hulk, and first we're going to take a look how she performs in Realm of Legends. Now first and foremost, the thing that I have to mention is that she sort of sucks against every skill champion, just because she can't refresh her furies means she can never increase her damage output, means her taunting abilities are not as effective, and the fight is just much more difficult against any skill champion pretty much. So when you're using She-Hulk, that's pretty much the class you want to avoid. However, against all other 5 classes, She-Hulk is an absolute beast. As we know, She-Hulk recently got reamped and buffed up, and I didn't pay too much attention to it just because I read her abilities. I thought it's kind of alright, nothing too special. However, that was a big mistake from my part, and the key aspect to the beauty and to the greatness of She-Hulk comes to the fact that she can chain a heavy attack to her regular combos, whether it's 1, 2, 3 or 4 hit combo. She can finish her combo off with heavy attack and then throw additional heavy attacks straight after. So that opens her to so much more great utility, but we will get to that in a bit. So first, a bit more about how She-Hulk works. And every single hit She-Hulk does, she has 11% chance to gain a passive fury. For each passive fury, it increases the chance of opponent throwing special attack. So basically, the more furies you have, the higher the chance that opponent will immediately launch special attack. That's kind of the base of her. Her furies last longer against larger opponents, so the bigger opponent you're facing, size-wise, the better for She-Hulk. However, she still can manage just fine against smaller opponents. So then a few things to mention as well is she obviously is a ramp-up champion, because initially she doesn't hit too hard. However, once her furies build up, she hits like an absolute tank. She does not have the best crit rate though. As we can see here, we don't really get all that many crits. So aside from that, she does not need to be awakened to be awesome and use her to the fullest. Her signature ability basically gives her some small benefits against opponents depending which class we're up against. And what else there is to her? Her heavy attack has slow debuff on it, and that pretty much prevents all forms of evade and unstoppable, including passive ones, which is extremely useful. It also nullifies active unstoppable buffs, and if opponent is unstoppable, her heavy attack can't be interrupted. So she can pretty much always launch a heavy attack safely against anyone. And her level 2 has a petrify to it that's also going to be quite useful, as we can see further up. And her level 1 basically just guarantees her a chance to gain a fury buff and then place some small exhaustion on opponents. Not really too important. However, the main big things is heavy attack, slow debuff, and petrify on her level 2. So there we go, 170 hits, the fight is nearly over, and that is her base damage at rank 3. So it's not bad at all. However, the biggest thing is that the damage would only ramp up and up and up. For those who missed, I posted rank 3 5-star She-Hulk solo of Labyrinth Starlord. And yeah, that's right, she can solo Labyrinth opponents even as a rank 3 5-star, because she can pretty much ignore enrage timers in combination of her slow debuff and petrify in level 2. However, now we're going to take a look at some variant and stuff. So this is in Ultron's Assault variant against SpiderMan, and as you can see here, that slow debuff is putting in work. So in some fights you don't always will have the ability to maintain your furies up there, but still, even without your furies, you still deal reasonable amount of damage, and just the fact that you can completely forget about evade and you can completely forget about unstoppable is really useful. And I can't stress this enough, your heavy trick only works if opponent is against the wall. However, it also works if you do not manage to land a strike. It means if you hit opponent in a block, you can still start your heavy attack and they won't have enough time to punish you, and you will be able to work with it. So here against SpiderMan, we're 50 hits in for a rank 3 She-Hulk. That's not too bad. We're over halfway through his health. He can't evade us. We have 5 furies on us, which we're are able to maintain. The tricky bit about Spidey fight in particular is obviously that we need to be decent at kind of getting away from his level 1 attack. But aside from that, as we can see here, we have no problems closing out this fight at like under 80 hits, which is not bad for variant fight at all, because their health pools are absolutely massive. And next fight's also going to be in variant against that annoying evade Adaptoid, which we all hate, and She-Hulk absolutely annihilates him. And the good thing about She-Hulk and this strategy is it doesn't really matter if he's stun immune or not. Like I know one of the more annoying fights in this variant is stun immune aggression fury Adaptoid. So against that Adaptoid, only thing we kind of have to do is make sure we land our first heavy attack, and that's it. As soon as we have slow debuff on him, we have absolutely no need to parry, no need to stun him, no need to block any hits from him. We just do our thing. And that's the great thing about She-Hulk, is once she gets in her rhythm, there is pretty much no stopping her. Only thing that's gonna happen is you can mess up, possibly. However, theoretically and technically, you can do all of these fights with a 3-star She-Hulk, just because, once again, opponent is not able to do anything. You do not block, you do not intercept. The fight is all yours, kind of like in your hands, and her damage still ramps up anyways. So even if you don't have a 5-star She-Hulk, for sake of variant, you can bring in a 4-star 440, 4-star 430, maxed out 4-star, doesn't matter. You can still use her, and you can still get through these troublesome opponents that evade, have unstoppables, or just in general fights if your roster is lacking. Because even though the fight might be a bit longer, it's like an extremely safe kind of fight. Now we're going to be taking a look at MODOK. So now, even though technically She-Hulk doesn't really have anything that helps her against auto block, however, as we all know, that heavy attacks can be auto blocked, right? So now we have a bit of connection problems. Let's just wait this one through. I should have edited this out. My apologies, guys. And alright, I think it's about done. And there we go, up against MODOK. So this is variant MODOK on Tranquility and Starburst node. So let's see how our rank 3 She-Hulk does here. Also, for any of you guys who did not catch any of my live streams, you can see a ton more She-Hulk footage from when I was doing 6.2 completion with only rank 3 5-stars. I used a lot of She-Hulk there, and I also did explore 100% Ultron Assault variant using only 4-stars and rank 3 5-stars, and there was a ton of She-Hulk footage over there as well. So as we can see here, we do not care about MODOK's auto block whatsoever whenever it is active, because we can just repeatedly heavy him. We heavy him to a full bar of power, bait out his level 1, and just have at it. We keep going, and that's about it. That's how the entire fight is going to look like. And once again, if MODOK is up against the wall, we do not have to land a hit. We can tap him in the block and still transition into our heavy attack, and he is not going to have any time whatsoever to kind of respond to that heavy attack. He can't interrupt it, so we are safely throwing the heavy attack. And even though it's not the quickest fight, we're starting to build up some furies though. We're at 4 at the moment, so we're starting to hit harder, and we're still gonna take this MODOK down, just because the Starburst, it does more damage once his health is lower. When we're gonna build up more furies and his health is gonna go down more rapidly, then the Starburst is gonna deal more damage to us. While we're building up, it's not really dealing all that much damage to us. So as we can see here, even a rank 3 5-star She-Hulk is dealing in one of the kind of troublesome fights in variant without much hassle at all. So now we're at 7 furies, we're hitting hard. We just need to bait out this one level 1 attack, and I thought I'm gonna shoot off a level 2 there, but I didn't. But either way, so we're at 9 furies, he's at 20% health. Now we're degening a bit more, but the fight is nearly over at this point. 90 hits in, and all of these fights with She-Hulk always go like super fast, super rapid, as you don't spend pretty much any time baiting out opponents' specials, dancing about, or trying to find openings. You always have an opening just right there, then and there. Right, now we're gonna have another fight in variant. So most of this footage is recorded in variant, And we're gonna check out how She-Hulk deals with that power gain as well, because this is pilfer node, where basically whenever they have a chance to pilfer any buff we gain, and they gain extra power, as well as obviously Vision has extra power gain. So this in combination is not the easiest fight to deal with. However, with She-Hulk we don't have many problems, just because Vision is going to be willingly throwing his special attacks throughout the fight because of our Furies and the built-in taunt mechanic, and B, because of our Petrify, just because any power gain he gets pretty much nullified and slightly reversed. So at this point we have pretty much nothing to worry about whatsoever. We have 4 Furies on us, his power gain is neutralized, and we're just having a good time pounding in that Vision up against the wall. And once again, once the fight is started, when we get in our rhythm, we're having like kind of a super easy time to keep the fight in the corner and absolutely dominating the kind of tempo of the fight. We don't have to kind of parry, we don't have to intercept, we just need to do our thing, not mess up, and that's it. We can see here She-Hulk 65 hits, again like we have 7 Furies, we're hitting fairly hard at this point already, and the fight is nearly over. And the great thing, as I mentioned before, is that you can use lower ranked She-Hulks and do exactly the same thing, just because it doesn't matter. You can build up your damage, you control the fight, only difference is it's going to take slightly longer. So another perfect matchup for She-Hulk is the Thing. I know many people are struggling with the Thing and keeping count of his rock stacks and like when to attack, when not to attack and whatnot. However, with She-Hulk we simply do not care. He will never go unstoppable, even though his ability says he can't be nullified, but it can be prevented from activation. And yeah, so against the Thing, She-Hulk completely destroys that fight. We have 5 Furies up, he is just throwing his specials, we're absolutely ignoring everything that has to do with rock stacks, and we're just having at it. Also, another thing I want to demonstrate, that for whatever reason She-Hulk has the perfect kind of reach on her heavy attack to punish the Thing's heavy attack, level 1 and level 2 from distance. So if you don't even need to get him to the corner to apply the slow debuff in this case. But yeah, so we can see here 44 hits, uncollected Thing goes down like it's nothing. Once again using our rank 3 She-Hulk. Obviously like Nightcrawler is becoming problem once again because of the changed AI. It's much trickier to kind of switch him from mode to mode, but with She-Hulk you don't even have to bother. He will never evade, and he will always willingly throw his special attacks, and that once again becomes a typical kind of She-Hulk fight. And here is where I kind of like to draw my similarities, why I think She-Hulk is in fact one of the new God tier champions. I would definitely rank her somewhere in top 10 currently in the game in terms of her usability. And her top quality is that so long as you don't make a mistake, it doesn't really matter what AI wants to do, they don't have a chance to do anything. It's kind of similar when you play Quake, for example, because Quake can completely like bypass abilities, bypass nodes, and just turn in every single fight into exactly the same kind of template fight. And the same thing goes with She-Hulk. You take a champion, you get him to the corner, you get some Furies up, he's always going to be throwing specials, and that's it. They're in corner, you hit them, you heavy them, they never go unstoppable, you can control their power gain, and you can close out any fight, even let's say if opponent is at 500k health with a 3-star, for instance. I was, let's say, using my rank 3 She-Hulk to easily deal with Aspect of War Hulk that we have at Ultron variant 3.3. And yeah, that Hulk has 300k health. It's Aspect of War. He was unblockable for a majority of the fight, but it didn't matter because he never actually got to launch an attack. We never needed to parry. We just needed to do our thing. And that's why I'm hugely on this She-Hulk hype train. Speaking of Hyperion, here we have some fight from Act 6.2, and that is Hyperion, which is always kind of annoying to deal with, but as we can see, She-Hulk has perfect weapons at her disposal to absolutely destroy every single Hyperion she faces. Just because of her Fury mechanic, every single Hyperion will always throw their special attacks willingly, and because of her level 2, you can completely kind of negate his power gain. So once again, any fight becomes the simple same fight as you typically do with She-Hulk. It doesn't matter if the opponent has power gain, it doesn't matter if they can evade or they are unstoppable. They will throw their special attacks, they will cooperate with you, and you will just continuously pound at them in the corner without ever having a need to intercept or parry. And yeah, so I might be a bit, I don't know, biased here just because I'm on a huge She-Hulk train right now, but I do generally wholeheartedly believe she is one of the better champions in game as of now because of her heavy mechanic. And I am seriously considering to rank 5 her in the near future. I have a few rank ups I have to do first, but she is going up on my account 100%. I'm absolutely in love. She has really useful kind of matchups in New Alliance War map as well, when you have to deal with that Buffle, I don't even know how it's called, but those new Aspect of War and Unstoppable nodes. And just overall, when I took a look in 6.2, there is so much she can do, and as well in Variant and pretty much everywhere. So yeah, She-Hulk. So now I have last couple of fights to show. So this one is going to be against Gladiator Hulk in 621 with that life cycle node. As we all know, it's fairly annoying node to deal with to begin with, and this path in particular was one of the more trickier ones where all opponents were stun immune and you still have to knock them down. And for instance, this Gladiator Hulk routinely goes unblockable, and it was just an annoying tricky fight when I was clearing it initially for my like 100% completion. However, I took in She-Hulk to this fight and it just made it a complete cake. So we need obviously him to throw special attacks, but once he does, we build up our Furies, and that's it. It doesn't matter if he goes unblockable because we continuously can keep him in the corner. We can make him throw his special attacks. Basically, we never really have problem baiting it out. We don't have to parry or bait his heavy attacks out in order to find openings, just because once he's at the wall, we can hit him for as long till he gets a bar of power, which we bait out. Now obviously, because of slow debuff, he can never go unstoppable, so we're never afraid to punish him, and that's pretty much the rest of the fight. We can just completely bypass all of the struggles of this global node, of Gladiator Hulk's unstoppable, of the local nodes unblockable, and whatnot else they have, and that's it. It's just a super happy and easy time using She-Hulk. And last fight is going to be against annoying Aspect of War Rhino in 614, I think, or whichever chapter that was, with close encounters. And once again, we are gonna have absolutely no problem dealing with Rhino, let's say, because he can't go unstoppable, and we're gonna get him to the wall, and that's it. From that point, it doesn't even matter when Aspect of War kicks in and he's unblockable, sorry, because he will never be unstoppable, and we're just gonna keep the fight in the wall. So as you probably noticed in this video, that is one of the reasons I love She-Hulk so much, because she takes any fight, breaks it down to bare basics, strips away all power gain, all unstoppables, unblockables, the need to find openings, and it just leaves you with a very simple kind of basic fight of you getting opponent to the corner and pounding at them, throwing heavy attacks till they have a bar of power, and rinse and repeat. So it's extremely simple way to play the game, and I love it. But anyways, that's gonna be about it for this video. Sorry guys, I kept you going for like nearly 19 minutes, but I still feel there's a lot of skepticism surrounding She-Hulk, and I just wanted to make a good video to showcase exactly how good she is and how easy she can deal with opponents. But yeah, I hope you guys learned something from this video. I hope you can take something away from it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that share button, share it with your alliance, and I'm gonna see you guys soon.